Well, let's talk about your mic stand, because I have a story for you too to match this, perhaps.
Oh,
So
God.
what's your setup right now?
Okay, well, my setup right now, just because I did just get finished moving like a couple weeks ago, is okay. So we've got my super high quality earbuds, which are actually just iPhone here, or iPod earbuds.
I was gonna say
Because
they couldn't be iPhones because they've got cords.
yeah, so they're iPod earbuds. I have so I got this like bucket of cotton candy like 5 years ago. And I turned it upside down. I punched a hole in the top of it, and then I put my microphone in the hole so that it can kind of like balance at an angle. My microphone is actually the microphone from the Guitar Hero World Tour set that you bought for PlayStation 2.
Wait,
it actually just,
can you show this? Like, just take your camera and like angle it or something.
yeah, no, see,
Oh, amazing! Amazing!
There's actually data to support this, but when they released Guitar Hero World Tour, they included a microphone that was way too high quality. Like they couldn't have gotten away with a much cheaper one, but it's actually a pretty high quality microphone. So if you guys are ever wanting to get into casting, and you happen to also own Guitar Hero, well then you too can make it happen.
This is like a real mother of God moment for me. I can't believe that that's actually what's happening. I was gonna say, when I got my microphone, my very first one was like an MXL 660 or something. It was like $100. I didn't realize it needed a stand.
Man, you were a nerd with money, man. Holy.
Well, so I didn't. This was me like really diving deep and investing into casting, right? This mic I'm using right now is like $400 or something. But the very first mic I had, that was the good quality one, I should say, because the first mic I had was like a headset mic, you know, like it wasn't very good. But I didn't realize I needed a stand for it, and it didn't occur to me that I couldn't possibly cast and observe while holding a mic at the same time. So I took the cardboard box it came in from Amazon, and I punched a hole in the top, and I just like pushed it into that hole. And some of the original BaseTradeTV fans will remember this, where I was sitting there hunched over because I had to hold it between my legs so my knees would hold the box while I was trying to cast and observe with my hands on the keyboard and mouse at the same time. It was the most uncomfortable but most like hobo setup ever.
You gotta do that thing like you do when you're talking on the phone while you're using both of your hands, like hold the microphone between like your shoulder and your mouth when you're like using your hands.
Can you imagine you do that for 4 hours? Your neck would die, man. Oh no. Oh no.
Oh no.
Well,
my God.
Get the invite. Yes, no?
Did I get the invite? Yes, I did.
Okay.
You have to remind me to do these things, Graham. I'm super noob at getting like joining game lobbies.
It's okay. That's why I'm I figure like by the third time I'm inviting you, you're probably not paying attention to it, so it's all good. I'm learning as you learn. It's all good, man. But we're following Kelazhur guys to fight against trusT. Looks like they're both ready to go. Oh, you won't know how this works. I'm gonna you just be quiet for about 30 seconds because I'm gonna play a super baller intro for this. Oh wait, I gotta cue it up. I forgot I had that on the other scene. One sec, guys. Cactus Valley requires a map introduction. If I can find where I put it, damn.
I'm gonna give you guys a drum roll. It's like, actually, that's probably really annoying to listen to.
I was gonna say that'd be like super counterproductive. Okay, there we go. It's loaded up. Let's hop into Cactus Valley. Players say they're ready, so let's get into it. We'll see you guys here in about 30 seconds. I don't know if you've ever seen the Cactus Valley intro before or not, Rapid Casting. It might be worth actually being tapped out for, because you're going to see chat blow the hell up in a second too. But ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the BTSL. Definitely not a ripoff of GSL in any way, shape, or form, and this is definitely a unique logo that is not at all mocking or spoofing anything else. That being said, this tournament's powered by Twitch! And, oh, our chat has made a custom Rapid Casting command for you. How courteous.
Aww, it's like they really like me.
I don't even have one of those. So maybe they do. But ladies and gentlemen, game number 1 in a brand new best of 3. Spawning the bottom left, it's going to be the light blue Terran player, Kelazhur.
Dun, dun, dun. And on the other side in the, I guess that's red, but it looks kind of like teal because those are the crystals on the Nexus. This is going to be trusT. We have to do it like the GSL intros where we both say the player name at the exact same time, Rifkin. I don't know if you've heard those, but it actually is just like so awkward.
I was gonna say, you know what the word cringe means, right? Just curious, like
it's so awkward because like it's also kind of heavily modulated too. I'm just like, ugh.
By the way, I'm gonna tell you right now, you should probably tab out and just watch stream for this. You'll enjoy it.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know. Intros, I feel are people. I've heard actually arguments saying from, I guess, fans or anti-fans, whatever you want to call them, that like, why bother doing intros? It seems like such a waste of time. We clearly know who it is and what's playing, etc. I think it's just at this point like a formality. Like you meet somebody, you shake their hand. You don't have to, but it's a thing you do.
Oh my god, I'm just watching the little cactars. This is actually the sickest intro. So yeah, I think the word you're looking for there is ubiquitous, which is pretty much means everybody.
What'd you call me?
It. Exactly. Friggin' ubiquitous, man. Oh
ubiquitous motherfucker.
Oh my god. Yeah, it just means that everybody does it, everybody knows. It's not like it's a big surprise or anything. It's just like, oh, well, this is kind of the way things are. So it's not like it's a big mystery. It's like, oh, we introduced the players. I as a human being pick player introductions as the one hill to die on as far as things that I'm annoyed at. Like, I think that says more about the person than the player introductions. All I'm trying to say is now you know who the players are, and now we can talk about them as they play the game of StarCraft.
Well, that voice crack though, yeah. But you had mentioned before, and I guess we'll go over this for those who haven't seen this. They don't know why Cactus Valley's here. It's on January 25th, so like 5 days from now, I think is when the new patch is hitting. And you're gonna have the new season of ladder maps, and this is one of the maps coming. And for those who haven't played on it before, this was an old map. It was here before. It was in the past. This is what we had an intro for it ready to go. But it's a very interesting layout for the map. As you can see, the main and the natural are pretty nicely connected. See a little bit of annoyance with that Reaper. But the third bases are a little bit further out and a little bit more exposed. And oh, Kelazhur sneaks some Hellions in. So we'll do the map exploration in a moment because this is going to roast up some probes. Already a couple going down.
Ooh, 5 probes already. Gonna be 6.
Oh no, don't transfer them back yet. trusT.
I was just saying. That's a little early, so that could have actually been so bad. I mean, losing 6 probes is already pretty rough because there's basically, no repercussions for that. It's just like, oh, I just don't have 6 workers anymore. So he's gonna have to get something done on the other side. And there is a pylon placed by trusT near the 3rd base, so we'll see if he can maybe get some warpins, and indeed, here they come.
Problem is, though, these warpins might have been better suited at home, because, okay, there's still 2 Hellions to run in, but there's also 2 Widow Mines coming down.
There are some Adepts here. Can they target one of them down? No, 2 Adepts cannot kill them in time. Instead, we are just going to lose more and more probes. He's even going to be able to save both of those Widow Mines and take them back out again.
But I guess the catch is, he was getting his production up back at home, so Viking's out. Funny thing is, a Viking with 5 SCVs repairing it can actually take on 3 Stalkers. I mean, it's just the Viking on its own, but 20 damage versus mechanical, guys. They got a nice little buff in the previous patch of the game.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's actually really underappreciated. Now, even that will not help it if it is just target fired and just stands there by itself unrepaired. So the Viking's down, and now there's 5 Stalkers inside Kelazhur's base.
Here's the problem, though. The Stalkers could eventually be dealt with. If you pull the SCVs, production whittles in, like, he's going to lose stim, and that's devastating. But there's no observer back at home. These Widow Mines aren't being dealt with. Or, excuse me, there is an observer, but it's in the wrong base. So Widow Mines are about to go off in the main. We're going to see more probes die in a second, but SCVs are dying to these Stalkers. But here we go. Round 2.
And he does get a couple more, so that's
12 kills. Yeah.
But back at home, he's gonna have to pull all of these SCVs, and this is gonna deal with these Stalkers.
Oh,
but oh man, target fires the medevac there at the end as well. So really effective trades, even more than 12 SCVs going down, as it takes a lot of investment for Kelazhur to clean this up.
Yeah, he's also lost a lot of mining, because the one thing about trusT was while he was taking damage, he was at least mining through all of that. More Stalkers coming in. Can't even raise the depots. It's not a full wall off, but I think the tank finally solidifies this. You get that tank set up in siege, that's 70 damage a shot. Stalkers with no blink don't stand a chance, and as we see, are pushed back fairly easily.
Yeah, this harassment is actually just remarkable. What?
He snuck a pylon into Kelazhur's main, and Kelazhur doesn't see this.
Wait, how did that get there?
I guess he snuck in during the chaos while everything was just distracted.
When there's a pylon in your main, I remember.
Oh my god!
Back when StarCraft 2,
no!
First came out, that would be very, very popular to hide pylons because the map or the mains were so much bigger.
Yeah, but that was also like your first probe coming out and hiding like before any attacks happened. This was like he got there in the heat of battle, rapid casting. Oh my god!
It was the heat of the moment. Hide pylons in your base.
This is gonna. I really wish trusT had gone DTs behind this too. That would have been so dirty. But this ends up being really nice. He's gonna just assume it was a warp prism, maybe. Because again, look at Kelazhur's vision real quick. He does not know about this pylon. He still doesn't know about this pylon. There we go.
Well, finally, he's gonna find it. It's like, how did that get there? That's like that feeling when you you lose your debit card or your wallet or something. You're like, oh man, that's really sucks. And you're cleaning your apartment when you move 10 years later. You find it underneath the rug. And you're like, why did I put it under the rug? I don't know.
Yeah, how could this have possibly ended up here?
It's like I knew where I put my pylon and I didn't put it there. There's pylon gnomes. They're called probes, building stuff in your base. So not a good place to have pylons if you are Terran. On the other side, if you just look at units lost, that's where it really tells the story. It's been worker genocide for the majority of this game.
Yeah, 31 and 21 is actually considerably high. We don't usually see it get traded so well, but this drop will be stopped by the Colossus, unfortunately, so Kelazhur not able to return that damage. I also do want to point out his stim was pushed back so far, losing that tech lab. So while we're used to seeing late stims finish up around now at the 8-minute mark, his has only just begun. And stim, unfortunately, has a stupidly long research time, 2 full minutes, so it's going to be a while before Kelazhur can maneuver his units around very well.
Holy. All right, well, this is... I love how each one of these games have been just, incredibly, insanely different. We're going to see lots of different styles. That early Stalker pressure was just so much more effective than I imagined that it would be. And so it actually puts us in a position where, at least if you check out, the army, that might tell one story, but the economy is in a much better spot here. For trusT, he's been able to stabilize both of his worker lines, take care of those widow mines from earlier. He has his third base coming up, and
look at the income graph too. I mean, he just literally mountains here as he gets ahead. Didn't that 1,000 research part 5 minutes now almost? He's had a massive income lead.
That is very true. And I mean, mules are going to make that look a little bit weird, but eventually it is going to be in his favor. So finally taking care of that proxy pylon, but here comes up two Colossus.
He can't run away. He can't stim. Oh, no.
That lack of stim is actually almost game
it's
losing
murder.
Right there. Yeah, he's got about 10 seconds until it does finish. So if you press right now, trusT, you're going to have that window to work with. But it doesn't look like he's going to go, and so stim will be finished for this incoming attack.
So many stalkers, they might be able to blink on top of the tanks. The tanks have got the best choke possible to be firing into. But if trusT can maneuver around them, if he blinks up to the main, for example, if he wants to warp prism some units in, that could be tough for Kelazhur to deal with. But Kelazhur has this particular choke, I think, on lockdown with what he currently has. Now, this is really bold. He's picking up 2 medevacs. He wants to do some damage. If he goes to drop now, he takes away a lot of his own defenses. And he doesn't know, there's no observer for Kelazhur, there's no scans. He doesn't know that the army is or isn't there. That's what this Marine's checking for.
Yeah, kind of like if you lose your medevacs, you're gonna have to rebuild them instead of building other stuff. If you're not focusing on building observers because you're building other stuff, then you're just not gonna be able to have things like the knowledge of this army movement. So got to keep an eye. But man, that choke point is just death. Cactus Valley. That's where you plant your cactuses because there's just no way to get through there.
Oh,
it's a rough spot.
So we didn't get to quite go over the map layout real quick, but just for your sake, since I guess you'll be casting this a little bit next season maybe, but for everyone else who's going to be playing on it, this choke, it doesn't look like it, but this is the same size as the ramp. You can 2 depots and a bunker to fully wall this off. So the choke here looks really big, but that's a big part of why when you come in, it's a lot tighter than it looks. Also worth noting, the watchtower control for trusT is massive. There's actually no way to walk around this unless you tear down these rocks in the middle. So Kelazhur, unless he's dropping, will be scouted at every turn. And even then, there's observers, there's adepts, like, he'll be scouted. That's gonna be the toughest thing for Kelazhur. He can't sneak anything in.
Well, Kelazhur just like doesn't. Okay, it sounds bad to say he doesn't know anything, but he has very little vision out there on the map. Warp Prison though is gonna make it into the back. There's no missile turrets right behind the mineral line. And that's 4 adepts right in there taking out SCVs. Meanwhile, trusT is continuing to engage. Force fields in great spots there. Shave off a little bit of the army. It's just gonna be about dealing with these liberators.
I mean, the nice thing for Kelazhur is he doesn't have a lot left in the main to lose. He did transfer a lot of that over and didn't have that many in the first place. But also that in itself kind of sucks. Third base, though, SCVs get pulled off this, and production is starting to get compromised. So this is why the front lines look a little bit scarce. He pulled so much of the army back to deal with these adepts.
Those tanks are just not in like super great spots. They should be maybe a little bit further forward, because right now trusT is just chilling. You know, he doesn't have to actually go in there and fight.
trusT is also winning the main base fight really hard. Like Kelazhur's army without medevac support, Marauders and Marines aren't holding up to this.
He also didn't target fire. You can see 3 adepts all without shields. Like you gotta shift click that, man, and that's gonna be it. GG.
First game gonna go to trusT. And that puts Kelazhur in a bit of a sticky spot, but it will give him the advantage of map pick. We're going to quickly squeeze out some ads, guys. It's been 30 minutes since our last ones, so please give us 2 minutes of your time, and we'll see you in 2 minutes. All right, folks, thanks for watching that commercial break. We are getting into game number 2. And this is Tanya says that they got their Partouf coin today. That's awesome. I'm glad to see that. Tweet it at us if you have if you got a Twitter for it. But we are getting into game number 2 up for the BTSL. Spawn here in the northern spawn location. He is currently staying at the BaseTradeTV house in Korea, playing for Root Gaming. It's the Red Terran, Kelazhur.
I'm glad you put that in there because he is going to be proxying his blue Protoss opponent. This is trusT, who should definitely not be too trusting because he is about to have a barracks pumping out Reapers in his direction. Now, last time we saw this happen, the SCV got trapped and he had to lift that barracks, and it ultimately was not that successful. So we'll have to see if that SCV is a little bit luckier.
trusT also scouts this immediately, so the SCV...
He's like, wait a second.
Well, so this is where building it here kind of works out really well. If the SCV's on the right side of this, yeah, the probe can never actually get to it and poke it and harass it down. But at the same time, for Kelazhur, it's a little bit worrisome because if he's not building on the right side of it, then he doesn't actually get the barracks up, and it's game over, and you tap out and feel bad, man.
He's actually going to lose that SCV pretty soon if he doesn't micro that correctly. But it does look like it is staying on the safe side for now. And
he'll finish on the right side, too. Nice.
Wow, that actually worked out much better than I expected. Okay, well, I guess that's how it works. Pylon going up should be in a good spot if it does get overcharged to really push this back. I mean, you're still going to get the Reaper in, but this is just not going to be as effective as it would have been if it weren't scouted. There's my high-powered analysis for the day, Rifkin.
Oh.
If you scout proxies, you're going to do better against them. There you go.
That's true. Also, I need to test the alerts really quick because I forgot to do that. Okay, they are working. I guess I've just been terrible at noticing. I'm sorry. I promised I'd give you guys a bunch of shout-outs, but I have not done that yet. We'll do it after this series, or at least I'll try my best to remember to do so. But this Reaper gets in, and already a probe goes down. 2 of them now.
Okay. That's actually already pretty worth it.
3.
And he's going to be... Oh my god, this is actually the best Reaper. Holy.
Well, so this is a little bit we talked about. Hero deflected this really well because his probe micro was better. As we saw, trusT just kind of pulled a clump of them and left them on auto attack. And 4, as I said, didn't happen earlier, but happens this game. 4 is kind of the staple number of what you expect a Reaper to get. Kelazhur did this last time as well. I'm not convinced in the value of a second Reaper, but he does try and throw that into the mix.
Well, this is definitely going to be some deja vu because we've also got the proxy starport coming down. That also did precisely nothing last game.
It's a proxy to his own base.
The starport?
Oh, starport. You're right. Excuse me. I think it's the Stargate. My bad. My bad. Yeah, this is going to be the Banshee, I guess, follow up to this. But there's a probe on the other side of the map that's coming into scout. And there's 2 parts to this, right? Like, one is, okay, you confirm that it's going to be a starport somewhere else because it should have been built at home by now, right? The other part of it, though, is trusT could have built a pylon. He could have done something sneaky like we saw in game number 1. I'm a little sad he didn't get away with using that probe.
Well, it's going to be one base versus two. Okay, we're just now seeing the command center drop down. But I actually just want to see like what the reaction is here, because this time it's not a cloak banshee. It's going to be that liberator.
Yeah, and that whether it's the first Reaper or the second Reaper, my point is Reaper got in there to scout the Stargate, so he knew that this could be an option. But for trusT, it doesn't appear he's done this Stargate in terms of a blind counter, as we saw Hero do earlier. Instead, the Oracle comes out of this, and that going across the map is going to really, frankly, regret being an Oracle. Nothing can shoot this Liberator. Mothership Core's on the wrong side of the map. He could just set up above the Nexus. There's nothing that would stop it.
If he recalls the Mothership Core too, that's just going to be less energy, so he won't be able to do that even still.
If he recalls, there's not enough energy for an overcharge.
Yeah.
Oh
so
my
it's
God.
like, what's the point? So you got your Mothership Core harassment versus a Liberator.
Oh, the Reaper gets him too.
Yeah, I think we all know who wins that fight. It's just gonna be probe after probe after probe after probe. Oh my God.
This is bad too. trusT has got the money. He's building a Phoenix. He's hoping that time is going to be enough on his side, but almost loses the Mothership Core to that Cyclone. The Reaper, of course, is even poking away at some probes behind this too, so his opponent now 10 workers behind and 9 workers dead.
Jeez. All right. Well, this is just going to be the most effective Liberator harassment. He is eventually going to lose that. Nice try on the transformation there, but
there's a big part of scouting with this, and there wasn't any easy mode detection. So this Cloak Banshee follow-up, beforehand it was shut down because the Phoenixes, 3 of them, you know, they're camping above the starport. Not a chance for that Banshee to even escape. Now that Banshee's got the Oracle, the only form of detection on the other side of the map, she's just going to sit above that mineral line.
Well, that's what's so interesting here is that trusT, you could tell he scouted that proxy immediately. And he's going to know that there's the possibility for a starport follow-up, a proxy starport follow-up. He sees the Liberator come in, so he's like, oh, well, that's what's happening. And then he doesn't either go out to deal with it. And yeah, this is the Terran version of a Dark Templar getting in there. This is not going to be good to deal with.
Oh my God. Okay, well, the probe's getting pulled is one thing. The second Banshee heads towards the natural base while this goes on, so trusT might be thinking, at least I get some free, but here's the problem, right? You've split your units. You can only cast Revelation on one of these.
Okay, well, this is just not going to be going too well. There's the one Revelation, but here comes Cloak Banshee number 2.
Oh my God. He does actually have enough energy for a second Revelation. I thought he wouldn't, but as we can see, the Oracle had exactly barely enough. That being said, though, not only did it deal with the Banshee, it did bring the aggression home, so Kelazhur's happily doing things on his side of the map. Problem is, though, that was 1 and 2 Revelations. I don't know if I have enough energy for a third one. It's 50 energy.
Kelazhur forced out an immediate cloak there from the Banshee, so it's only got about 15 seconds left.
That being said, though, this is a Protoss player who's already low on probes. Any amount of denial, even if it's just like not mining off the natural, I feel is worth the value of this Banshee. Not to mention it's actually getting kills.
Yeah, I mean, even just getting 2 probe kills, like, I mean, come on, that's actually just way enough value. Like, it doesn't even out the cost of the Banshee, but at this point you've done so much damage to the economy. It's like, okay, well, I mean, what more do you need to do? This
is a game where Kelazhur has not won it already, but he is so far ahead that I would be very upset if he didn't win this game. More to the point, his stim is finished, really early, so he doesn't have to wait forever for that either. He's got a lot of bio on the ground, and things are just going swimmingly for Kelazhur.
Swimmingly, yeah, that's one word. I see. You're taking the positive approach by saying, hey, this one player is doing this stuff really well. And I'm looking at the other side, and I'm just like, well, you kind of just like ran a lot of your probes into the Liberator, didn't pull them off enough.
I mean, mistakes. Like, okay, well, mistakes are made from trusT. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, I mean, there's 2 sides to every coin. Rifkin, if you can show me a one-sided coin, I'd love to see it. Maybe that's the PVT matchup, but that's what we're watching.
Actually, rapid casting, correct me if I'm wrong, but art... Oh, wait, no, that's a face. Never mind. Damn it.
Oh, my God.
Forget it.
Well, either way,
Forget
the proxy's been cleared up here. Okay, so Kelazhur, now it's his turn to put it on the pressure.
I love that.
And yeah, trusT just knows what's coming his way.
15 army supply. I think 10 of which was in the air. 2 Phoenix and an Oracle. Mothership Core.
Jeez.
All right, well, now it's going to be trust's map pick for the last game in the series. We'll see what he has to... I love that Kelazhur's given us great games, and that these are not just like a bunch of walkovers, but at the same time, both Game 1 and Game 2 felt very one-sided. Obviously, one for one and one for the other.
Yeah, and there's a third unsung hero there, and this is Rifkin for picking good players to watch. So actually really entertaining. I mean, if you guys want to take a look at the challenge bracket for the games today, there's actually just so many good players playing. I tweeted it, so did Rifkin and BaseTradeTV.
Yeah,
I'm not going to put it in chat because I'm like 3 minutes too late, but you should go check that out because there's so many good players out there.
If you guys type !brackets in chat, it'll link it to you as well, so you can find it through that link too. But looks like Overgrowth is going to be the final map in this series. I think we have that one in the map pool. Just checking. We do, okay. While this goes on, by the way, it looks like Dark lost to Alive. Ooh.
Since when does that happen? Jeez.
Alive currently playing against Stats now. Heroes playing against, I think that's Sue. Oh, man, I would love to see Alive versus Sue or Stats versus Sue.
I mean, I hope that game is available to us when we get out of our final one here. But
yeah, I guess I should walk you through this because you haven't done this. We do both semifinals and the finals, so those games will be held for us.
Thank goodness.
That's why we're kind of afforded the freedom to muck around and be in other parts of the bracket. But man, I almost hope that those games take a long time so that we don't have to rush towards them because the winner of this plays Classic.
That's like the reward you just really don't want. I won the game.
You need to leave that game so I can invite you to this one.
Did I still really not do that? Oh my god, I'm actually the worst at doing this. So,
hey man,
big shout out to Rifkin's patience.
It's all good. It's all good. As long as the play, like the only instance where I would ever get like upset about this is if the players started getting upset that they're like, "Well, it's just gonna take fucking 10 minutes. Why we wait on?" Like that would be the only scenario where I'd be like, "God damn it, Rapid."
The rapid casting guy sucks at spectating. Oh my god. But my player experience.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm in spectator. We are all ready and good to go. And the final match of this, we've actually been having pretty good series today. Not just like 2-0 easy game, easy life, moving on. Some good back and forth.
Also, I promised we'd get caught up with shoutouts, so let me get that out of the way really quick. Thank you to Paul SE2 who subbed, Safrel who subbed, brand new as well, Thekbot resub for 6 months, and then Colin Walsh. I know that this isn't recent. He had that e-check thing, so this is actually from a couple days ago, but I guess it finally went through. He donated $20 to say less than $20 in donations for all those subs. Let's fix that. Which is awkward now because of course there's no subs going on, but hey, Colin Walsh, if you watch the VOD of this, thank you so very much, man.
Big fan.
But okay, folks, actually, I will say this really quick before we do the intros. I have told Rapid he's got the same deal as Zombie Grub, as Zeph, as everyone else who's joined me here on the channel. 50% of anything we earn through the day, we're going to send his way. So if you're feeling really generous, you want to give Rapid some love, just know that I will be distributing it fairly between the both of us. But yeah, you can always hit up, I don't know, whatever you want. Do you have a personal donation? Like a PayPal link or anything? Or?
Well, I mean, I do. I'm just like, I don't know. I don't really... I get paid to do like video game stuff just because it keeps me alive, but I mean the big secret is I do it for free anyway.
Oh no!
You still have to pay me, Rifkin. I'm not
I was gonna say, don't say that, man. Don't say that, man. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, game number 3. Things are tied up 1-1, and if you don't know my co-caster today, his name is Rapid Casting. Usually, you can catch him doing some Brood War or even the GSL over there. Kind of a big deal. No, whatever. Shut up. Thanks for gracing us with your presence, friend.
But finally, my dreams are coming true, and I not only get to cast GSL later on today, but I also get to make my BaseTradeTV StarLeague debut, Rifkin. You are actually currently the only people with a StarLeague right now, so I guess
that's true.
With a StarCraft 2 StarLeague, I should say, because a Freak has Brood War StarLeague, so just saying. Either way, it's still super sick to be here, and really cool to be here casting such great players. So I'm just going to make sure that I'm looking at the same thing that you are, which is currently a pro. But let's go ahead and introduce our Red Terran player from Root Gaming. This is Kelazhur. And
is up on top right, going to be the blue Protoss trusT. Now, of course, if you guys are just joining us for whatever reason, it is the third and final game in the series. But what I love and hate at the same time, though, is each of the games these guys won were incredibly one-sided. When we saw Kelazhur and Hero play, there's actually some really cool trading and some moments where I really was like, wow, these guys are pretty well matched. But this one, like, Kelazhur dominated that last game. It was like a joke. The first game, trusT walked all over Kelazhur. I don't know what to say or how to assess these guys. And honestly, I don't know where to put my partoofs if I was betting on who wins this series at this point.
Yeah, no partoofs are safe out there right now. And it's just like we saw in our first series of the day. Very even, very back and forth. And usually, whenever you hear a caster say back and forth, that usually means that, like everybody's like messing up something. But both of these games have been back and forth like so one-sidedly. So it's like, well,
yeah,
it's just like who's gonna stomp on all over either player. And honestly, it's kind of refreshing to watch players like trusT, like in game number 1, just come out and dominate, because PVT is a very hotly discussed matchup out there currently, and so at least trusT is making it look a little bit more even than it might normally. So back to the matter at hand, at least nothing super weird going on this game, and it looks like for once we might see something relatively standard.
That was actually really clever out of trusT. I'm not sure if you quite caught that, but the probe on hold position to stop the Reaper from walking forward, that was really cool. It didn't obviously shut down scouting, but it did keep it from getting to the mineral lines and throwing that grenade down where he was trying to. So nice bit of denial out of trusT for a very small bit of effort.
Yeah, it's just it's the little things, Rifkin. Like
probes are little things. You're right.
They are. Reminds me of, like, what was that? So Team Liquid used to have this sponsor, and it was like Little Things, the Little App Factory. Never mind. I was just like trying to remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh well, they might have made their apps out of probes. Because they are little tiny probes. Probe is the most annoying units in the game. Every time it dies, an angel gets its wings or something like that. Super not a big fan of probes. That's only because I don't play Protoss. So
do you play any Overwatch rapid casting?
I play literally every video game in the world.
Okay, what's worse, Protoss or Mei? I mean, neither have souls, so I know it's a hard distinction to make, but
that is very true. They need to make like a ginger Mei skin, so that then you're definitely 100% sure about that.
And her little robot becomes like a mothership core or something, so it's just like all kinds of cancerous.
Her little robot can suck a duck. Like, that thing is so annoying. That's number one thing that ducks hate having done to them. So definitely, if you guys hate duck, then
if we're gonna go down this direction, do you know about duck penises rapid casting?
I was in fact watching. Who was it? It was Monte Cristo that tweeted that at. I forget who was bored. It was Joe Miller the other day.
I don't know about this. I just remember seeing a documentary in high school, and it's never been out of my brain since then.
Okay, well, you are clearly a very interesting individual who's probably on a list somewhere, but
yeah, I guess if you guys don't know, don't Google it, but just let me tell you, it's a weird thing that shouldn't be a thing.
It takes all sorts to make a world, Rifkin.
You think about how evolution works, right? Like, for example, like you evolve like extra appendages because you need to reach things. That's how your arms come, whatever. Like, makes sense logically. The duck one, though, I don't know, man. I feel like someone screwed up. Someone dropped the beaker that was carrying the duck DNA when they were making them.
It's like, oh my god, I wonder what's gonna happen now. Let's just make an animal out of this stuff. You scrape it off the ground, you put it in, it grows feathers, and oh, by the way, also has some more interesting facets to its DNA. But I'm so glad that we can get together to discuss things like this, Rifkin. I didn't prep myself biologically. I'm not necessarily 100% prepared.
Again, but, embarrassing by not showing up prepared. You're supposed to be a professional.
Yeah, man, nobody told me I needed to get my duck DNA research going on. That was my bad. Won't happen again.
All right, well, Kelazhur, by the way, did poke towards the main with that Liberator, as we see. Didn't get a lot done and was pushed back fairly quick. More eyes, of course, from the observing cam were on that Widow Mine, and got about 2 probes, I think, and then got cleaned up. So Kelazhur's harassed, not getting away with too much, but this game around, I think his army's looking pretty fantastic, but trusT actually has something to fight back.
Yeah, which is a big contrast to that last game where trusT had absolutely nothing to fight back. Liberator does get taken out here, and so will the tank, as the Stalker Force is able to push forward and take it out.
I think Kelazhur is really banking on that Liberator getting a little bit more time, because if that tank had actually gotten a setup, if one or two shots even get fired, I mean, you tear down a Colossus, but more importantly, you get rid of the Stalker buffer for said Colossus. So I really like the idea of Kelazhur's push, just unfortunately, trusT was really well prepared for that.
Yeah, tank shots nowadays are kind of like what was I gonna say? They're kind of like
ground liberators.
Ground liberators. I was gonna say disruptors, because they actually just deal such a massive amount of damage. Especially if your army is mostly stalkers, then you just can't afford to take big shots like that. 2 shots and your entire army just blows up. So.
Actually,
yes.
Curious question for you, Rapid, because I know you're all over the place. Do you follow much, or do you see much of M Canning?
Yeah, I do. I watch. He's actually that guy that I watch stream, not just because he's entertaining, but because he's actually just so good. But
Dude,
he's not like a super competitive, like, you know, GSL player. But he's actually just still so good. He's
really convinced me that I feel Protoss should start using disruptors more. And I'm not even saying like it's a core part of their build, but just watching him use them, even though it's the lower tier of things, you're just like, damn, these things have such cool capabilities, so much awesome raw potential, but obviously huge flawed weaknesses too.
I mean, I just watch Need play games, and I'm just like, okay, well, disruptors are just not fair, but it does take an impeccable amount of control, so you really got to get used to them. That's one of the reasons I like StarCraft in whatever iteration you find it, just because there's always an opportunity for you to be better at something. Or than somebody else. Like, units are inherently equal, but not when you know how to use them more. So you can really sort of express yourself through the game by just being so good at whatever it is that you're doing.
I like how describing these things as like inherently equal kind of is like this almost commentary on humanity being inherently evil. Like, it's just we're all capable of things, just how we handle it. Like, we're all capable of being the worst things, the worst people, but how do we handle ourselves?
That is very true. That's actually the thing about StarCraft, and like not only just StarCraft but all video games, is that people, it's made by people, and people have only their surroundings, only the humanity, the reality that we're all in, as a way to come up with ideas. So all of this is theoretically based, well, to some extent, off of reality. So there's all these cool concepts that are illustrated here.
I would like to just recap that this cast went from duck anatomy to deep philosophical talks in about less than a minute.
It depends on. We're taking
Welcome
turns.
to BaseTradeTV, guys.
Yeah, you have your turn to talk about duck anatomy. I have my turn to talk about vaguely Jungian philosophies. So hey.
We do actually need to talk about the game, though, because Kelazhur had snuck in. This wasn't something he had revealed at all until just this moment, 11 Vikings. So there's a decent Stalker count, but there's no Storms. And I think when you start seeing a Terran player bulk up a lot of air, Storm becomes a big priority. But the Vikings come in, and they almost one-shot one of the Colossus. Stalkers blink forward. Kelazhur's army should be able to take on the rest of the gateway units if there's no Colossus remaining. And these Vikings are lining them up and knocking them down.
Jesus. Okay, well, no Immortal there able to get to the front line. That guy is trapped, totally useless in the back. These force fields aren't even that great either. That Immortal still has done 0 damage. He can't get forward to help against these Marauders.
Let's not forget, those Vikings landed aren't desperate. They're good. 20 more damage every time they fire, but Kelazhur, while he is pushed back off of this, I feel got a really great trade. A big part of this is he still might follow through with the rest of his bio army. The reinforcements reach those front lines, but he took out the Immortal. He took out the Colossus. There's no big tech units left for trusT.
Oh my god, well, trusT will blink forward into those Marauders, so he'll lose a few more Stalkers, but more importantly, limiting those medevac numbers, taking them all out.
The problem is Stalkers are not cheap units, and trading them out like 1 for 1 even with the Marauders isn't worthwhile. But looks like while this went on, we weren't paying attention. Down here, Kelazhur lost 22 SCVs, so he's also got a little bit of payback. But I'm a little bit jaded because I feel like killing the heavier army, the Colossus, the Immortals. I think that still favors Kelazhur at the end of the day, especially because there's 4 Liberators standing, and honestly, you got mules. Let's be honest, it's Terran. Let's cry Imba for a second. Like,
Well, I mean, if you look at the units killed or like workers killed, then yeah, it's all actually in trusT's favor. trusT also has an additional base up, so maybe that will sort of even out the mules that you were talking about. Just getting it fully saturated, so we should start to see the incomes at least even out for a little bit. The trade actually was a little bit more even than I expected, even though the stalkers are expensive.
Rabbit, take a look at the graph for a second though. This actually doesn't make sense in context to what happened. Like, Kelazhur loses 22 workers, but then ends up having more economy than trusT here. Like, what? What?
Yeah. See, there's this. There's this thing called mules.
Well, that's the thing though. I'm looking at his bases. He actually doesn't have that many mules. He's got a lot of energy banked up on the command centers.
Well, it's coming from somewhere. These are not magical, mythical. Like,
yeah,
you know,
I guess they might have
minerals.
they may have just expired. That would probably be what happened. But regardless, the Liberators don't have a great answer. There's no Tempest in play without disruptors to fly underneath them undetected, like, or untargetable. Like, there's nothing here to deal with those Liberators very well.
Yeah, he's only got a few stalkers, and that's 4 Liberators all sieging up all over the entire Protoss army.
Concave's too good. He's got it.
You can't fight under that zone, and this is Kelazhur taking out that final.
I like this though. This was a much closer
Everything.
game than either of the other two, but Kelazhur really played this out very well. His macro held strong. I was a little bit worried when his upgrades were kind of trailing for a bit, but overall speaking, I don't think 3-3 is going to win trusT this game. Not from losing a 4th base like that.
I mean, if he has those 3-3 probes moving forward, that's going to be what's winning in the game. But for Kelazhur, you mean the 3-3? Well, he's.
No, that's what I was saying for trusT. Like, he's finishing up his 3-3 right now, and that's really cool and all. But it's not going to stop Kelazhur. Like, even if Kelazhur didn't finish his +3 weapons at the same time, like, there's just so much more. It's 117 army to like a 56 of trusT.
Yeah, so at some point numbers just become a little bit too good. Suddenly forgot the name for Colossus in that last fight, which is a little bit awkward. But he's only got 1 left, so I might not even have to say
standy
that
leggy
word.
things.
Yeah, it's like the thing that walks over other things but doesn't kill them with stuff. And so blinking forward to try to take out that Liberator. He'll get that one down, force field so that he disengages successfully, but just the army sizes are not commensurate.
You know, I would actually be okay if StarCraft introduced something where, like, Thors, for example, could step on lings, or Colossus could trample over Marines. It would actually create some interesting, like, positional requirements to armies. Like, you could just move Command of Colossus and do more damage than attacking with it.
That would actually be really cool if you had something like a unit that was basically a unit version of destructible rocks, where you could just like roll over stuff.
Oh man, that'd be an Ultralist. You just have an Ultralist like roll over like a dog doing tricks.
Oh, it like turns into a ball. Like it's basically like the StarCraft version of Katamari Damacy.
Exactly. Yes.
Sickest ideas.
I'm also thinking of like Samus doing like the screw attack, but like the Ultralist like doing the spin. You got like Sonic the Hedgehog, the Ultralist coming through. Like
if I'm not mistaken, there was like a beta version where like the Ultralist had this burrow charge thing.
Yes,
it's kind of the same thing, right?
That's actually in co-op, by the way. If you guys have ever wanted to play Ultras that have burrow charge, Kerrigan gets it, and the Apocalypse from Stukov gets it, and it's hilariously fun to use.
I'm so happy that did not actually make it into
well, did you hear
game.
Did you hear what it was that finally actually stopped it from getting into the game though?
No.
So it wasn't that the ability itself was like overpowered, they felt. It was that they couldn't fix a problem, because this happens in co-op still, where if you target a Marine with the Ultralisk burrow charge, as it gets picked up into a medevac, it will ram the medevac and kill all the units inside the medevac, but not the medevac itself.
That's so sick. Well, here we have a big engagement, but nice force fields actually zone out most of the Marauders. Still a much smaller Protoss.
Three times the size of the army.
Jeez. Okay, well that was not even there at the end. So congratulations. That's going to be Kelazhur moving on over trusT. This guy just cannot stop.
Well, his TvP's looking solid, and he moves on to fight against Classic next. And Classic has beat... Okay, so in the GSL Loser Strike Back thing, Classic actually got beat really badly by Innovation, but we've seen Classic play against players like Innovation and others and hold their own quite well. But we did get a donation during that game. Hadu Ribenji donated $4 to say, "Don't let Kespa grab this rapid." He wants those $2 to go in your pocket for food, man. And then Darius, thanks for the 1 bit. I'm not clicking a YouTube link for 1 bit though, dude. What do you think I am? Some kind of cheap corner to like Hilgert? Come on, man. But thank you.
1 bit, isn't that like less than a penny?
Yeah. So basically, what you do for bits, guys, is you take 2 zeros off the end, and that's what it's worth. So I think 1 bit is exactly 1 penny.
Oh my goodness. Oh, but they take like a percentage of them though, right?
No,
so, like,
actually.
Okay.
So the way it works is like you pay that difference, because I didn't know how this worked for a while either. You pay that difference like up front when you're buying it from Twitch, but when the broadcaster gets the bits, they get like 100% of the value of said bit.
Okay. Well,
so
that's
like if you give someone 10,000 bits, they will get $10 or whatever. They won't get like 944 or something weird. But all right. Question for you, Rapid, because we are now in a very interesting part of the brackets. We can either cast Kelazhur in Classic, thus extending the length of the broadcast by probably 40 minutes, or we can sit on our hands and wait for one of the semifinals. I know that you, of the both of us, are perhaps someone a little bit more concerned with time, so I'll let you make that decision.
I mean, it's 10 p.m. for me. This is like the best part of my day, so I'm good to go for as long as you need me. I was a little bit concerned that things were not going to work out as far as time, because I have to go from this to casting a different game for a different tournament at a different time, and then have to also, make sure that I have enough time to like jump out of my apartment into a subway to go down and cast GSL in a few hours. So it's like, it's going to be a weird day for me, but as long as it's filled with esports, I'm good. As far as games to cast, though, like I'm just looking at what's going on right now. We have Kelazhur versus Classic, which should be actually so sick.
Well, hang on. So before you ramble, I need you to make a choice because I have to talk to the players. Do you want to cast Kelazhur in Classic? Yes, no?
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Then, guys, we're going to go to commercial break. I'm going to get this set up. When we come back, we'll let Rapid do some more talking, and we'll get into the games, and we'll see you guys soon. Stick around.